Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Devious Mind here. So today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showcasing the Gany purple stone. A lot of people, come to me with complaints about how they feel it's useless, but today I'm going to show you the use. If you pair this with Megan with her legendary stone, you can really see how lethal this could be. Evidently, if I had Poseidon's legendary, it would be even worse to deal with for the most part. Because if I get stuns, then I hit that. But evidently, um, what you want to do is you want to pair him with Poseidon, so you can get the full AOE deceleration 3 to reduce their speed, like mana regeneration, by 25.5%. All right. So here's the comp that I'm running. I got Thrain, I got Lucian, I got Beretta, I got Diaz, I got Poseidon, I got Gany, I got Megan, I got Koname. If they try to hit me with dots, Koname is gonna cleanse them for me. Evidently, like I can stack the dots if I feel they're looking to cleanse. They're looking to use McKean, so on and so forth. I can just drop Diaz in there. I don't really have to do the detonation with Sierra. So Diaz is a good replacement for that, especially when you have all the bend blocks. Um, and when you got the heal block on top of that, it's just they can't buff, they can't heal. It just keeps them locked out. And you will want to run divine protection because people are going to try to do big damage on you. Because I took out my legendary skill stone Coom so I could run this comp because this is all just AoE. You want to be running these cards together. Mind you, Gany's only got level 1 runes. Diaz only got level 1 runes. Poseidon's only got level 1 runes. Um, I really just have Lucian dropping heavy damage and Thrain as, a backup on the damage. But everything else is, very low level rune requirement. Reason being is because you're locking them out, preventing them from using skills, causing them to have a 25% reduction to their mana recovery state, while also incinerating their cards. So going back, I'm gonna replay here. All right, so as you see, this works even with them having all these maxed out cards, right? Like this is practically, a maxed out water imp here. So they're gonna try to cleanse. This is the perfect moment for us to, drop that AOE damage, drop the heal block, drop the bend block. They're gonna be frustrated, and then mind you, they got all that in, but I incinerated their cards, so they had very small selection there. Even if they are able to escape with the other stuff, you know, you can really give them a hard time with that. And they just dropped that AOE again, because mind you, they were still recovering their cards. Drop that. I'm gonna do that heal block again. So they're still gonna be sitting there frustrated. They can try to buff up Lucian AOE. Now they have little to no cards left. I'm gonna do the invincibility just so I can get that mana recovery back. Prevent them from using like any big AOE damage cards, like spread damage, stuff like that. In this, I don't really have to do anything. I could transfer. I could just sit there and wait for my stuff to expire, because she's not really going to be able to do much at that point with two DPSs and a dot character to face, and she doesn't really have any damage. All right, this replay, they didn't really fight back. I think they saw the deck and you know maybe were intimidated by it. I don't really believe that. I believe it's probably a very knowledgeable player, very good player. Just they were just trying to get their daily glory done because they got some pretty high level cards in there they could run with. So I want to actually show it with the deck that's fighting back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so here we go. Drop that buff in real quick. They're gonna end up killing Koname eventually, and what's gonna happen is it's just gonna, cleanse all those debuffs that are on me right now. Sat there, blocked their beneficial effects, incinerated their cards a little bit, drop that recovery. Yeah, you're probably thinking, that's a waste, but the reality is you don't want them to be able to get all those buffs in. So you're putting that pressure on them by decelerating. So right here, I'm going to actually be dropping a heal block because, they're going to try to heal right there. If he was playing the smart move, what I would have done with him is attacked with his imp if he had it at that time, but it might have been decelerated at the time because he did have to use a few cards to get that back. So now, just going to wipe majority of his team here. Drop that Thrain attack in here. And now there's not really much he can do. And then as well, I did want to add something else here. I did, rank 14 so far. Someone else is going to surpass me, obviously, if they go 10 and 0. But for this barrier battle, I did want to show that as well. Alright, so this is the comp that I ran for barrier battle. Evidently, this is not my creation. I used it from another player. If someone's unfamiliar with this, if you're trying to get your 10 and 0, I only had one really bad game where I just was doing misplay after misplay. Yeah, I make mistakes too. I understand. But, I'm going to show you a few battles, help you get some clarification on how to properly use this deck, because evidently I can show you all the right ways. If you guys want me to post the wrong way to use it, I could definitely share that with you. Just let me know in the comments below. A lot of these are going to be, battles that are going to be against, the same individuals at times because for some reason Barrier Battle has a tendency to do that where you could be fighting the same person 3 to 4 times over. Um, as you see, this person has Legend Stones, right? But the thing about this particular Barrier Battle that we have this week is you don't want to be landing a bunch of debuffs on people because you're going to be taking damage for that. So mainly what you want to do is you want to buff up, and likely everyone's going to be running Artemile because the thing is Artemile can strip and do bonus damage on the strip. So when they're able to just sit there and nuke that out, the aerial becomes something really rough to deal with because if they're trying to strip your buffs, you just strip that, whatever Soha took from you, and just one shot whoever it is. If it's not a one shot, you can take it out with basic attacks, or you can take it out with just another character, any character really, because they're going to be down to what, like 5% health, and there's not much sustainability at that point. Even a simple Diaz is probably going to take you out within a couple skill uses, but everything else is probably going to handle pretty well on that. So right now, you kind of want to start focusing on the nukes there, just to kind of put that pressure, because now they're going to try to use their spells, stuff like that, So that's the thing is, when you have the advantage with mana, you'll be able to capitalize off of that, and just do that counterattack, and then do a follow up with a very low cost mana card, because evidently Lucian with his purple stone is going to cost up to 6 mana. With his green stone, that's going to be the 5 mana. But certain game modes will have it where they'll have swift runes or other stuff like that. But ultimately, as you can see, you can match that up a 6 mana against a 6 mana and take out 2 cards versus him trying to do like little cleave damage. This is a very single target nuke centralized mode here. Yeah, you can probably pull off the AoEs, but it's not as powerful if you aren't running Copper or Rakan, or a really strategic cleave. That's not debuff central, because what's going to happen is as soon as you apply those debuffs again, you're going to run into chaos of just you took damage back, and you don't want to be doing that with your cleavers, especially when you're facing characters like Jean and Hua, because they're just gonna take advantage of that opportunity to DPS you down. Because they're, Jean could easily drop half her health. With an attack buff, if he has it, he could do even more. As you see, by me doing the defense buff, it's allowing my Ramagos to survive what would be, a good significant amount of damage there from Copper. Because if you're matching with Copper's buffs, he doesn't really do much damage. Maybe when you get like, ranked and stuff like that, where your runes apply better, but here, everybody's around the same level, so it's not going to be that massive of a difference. Maybe if he had like his Legend Stone, but again, if you're running really powerful single target nuke comp, and you're running that divine protection, you're just going to be able to take advantage of just nuking and nuking and nuking. They try to buff, cool, drop in Artemile, go for the one shot. Like you see even here, he goes in, tries to, do that revive. Right here, I'm gonna do divine protection. Well, not divine protection, damage conversion. And what's gonna allow me to do is just, waste Copper's time, take away his buff, go in for the nuke. And right here, I go for Hua because at this point, there's not much that he can do. Just trying to drop little bits of damage so I can get that one shot in. But yeah, if you use that, it's a great way to counter Copper, um, especially when you have a good stripper based DPS like Artemile, because unless they're running a divine protection, they're running some kind of buff to like you guys have seen in one of my prior videos. If you guys have watched my videos, the 75% roll is about that 75% mark that you see Artemile coming in is when you want to hit your buffs at. If you're running damage conversion, if you're running divine protection, if you're running Chloe, and right at that 75% mark, you click that. What's going to happen is he's going to go in for the strip. He's probably going to land the strip and whatnot, but then you're going to buff immediately as he's pulling back. And what it's going to do is before he's able to do that pullback, it's going to have that buff applied, and you're going to take like no damage, right? If you're running the damage conversion, you're just going to heal, but not going to apply if you have a heal block. All right, so and hopefully too, if someone was facing me during this, you guys could have learned from this deck. You guys maybe might use it against me later. I just want to share, give you guys an opportunity to learn here. And yes, I am running Sophia. Yes, Sophia is a character that does apply a ton of debuffs, just defense break, defense break, defense break, but she's doing more damage than she's receiving. You saw that was a really good play right there by Elemental Warlord. Evidently, you know, he wasted it on just a support. I would have probably done it to preserve a nuke, rather. And go back, recover the health on my Seek there. And again, if you have it, this is that 75% roll right there. You saw that? We're at the 75% mark. Tap that invincibility, you take no damage. No damage from Artemile. Alright, just going for that nuke. And again, you want to keep the nukes going, right? Because watch this. Just one shot right there. Guaranteed crits. Hard. It's not really guaranteed, but it's just about there, right? When you get the crit rate buff 3, attack buff 3. Kind of bait them to, use that gene there. Nuke the Artemile. Do the shield buff. Then to waste the gene. Do that health recovery. Just kind of buy me some time there. Got a damage right there. Watch, they're going to try to heal. Boom, done. And right there, they just give up because what are you gonna do? Artemile is eventually just gonna one-shot any character that you have if you're playing exhaustion state. Play that timer. He hits really hard as you know the max health pool kind of drops and stuff. So you're gonna find yourself dying to Diaz and stuff like that. When the exhaustion state goes through. All right. So here's another one. And again, this is a character, no, a player's um, deck that he's kind of moving around. He's trying to, gauge, what is he gonna do. And apologies, whoever this is. I didn't mean to, make your life hard here. Um, I'm just using game knowledge. Whoever this player is, I'm sure they have skill. We're all gonna move our decks around a bit, and we're losing and so on and so forth. This is perfect time to get that Ramagos one shot in. They're gonna buff up. I'm gonna buff up. This is where I want to line that invincibility buff up, just because I don't want to lose my Rauk that he, well, Seek that early on. Sorry, I mixed up the name real quick. So as you saw there, I'm really trying to get Gene to be one of the lowest health enemies, so that if Artemile goes in, he's just gonna heal Gene and not whoever's forefront, and then just go in there, finish Gene off. After they realized Gene was gone, and Artemile was frontline, they just kind of knew like it wasn't gonna work out for him. And Gene can be good in frontline, but he's really good as a backline, like really good as backline because as the fight prolongs, he just becomes more and more difficult to deal with. So here's another play here. Um, as you saw, they swapped their deck like each time that we faced almost. And don't get me wrong, it's not a bad idea to change your deck around. I've had to do that before, and one single swap got me, you know, 8 consecutive wins before when I was struggling in the arena battles. But this isn't arena, this is barrier. So right here, I'm gonna drop that health recovery. They're gonna buff up. I'm gonna drop Artemile in there. They counter there. But again, I want to go for Gene. I want to finish him off. Now they waste their mana. They have no mana. Get that nuke in. Because that buff coming from Seek there, when you get that 3 stack, it even helps against those water nymphs. So kind of get him to waste that skill there. Kind of drop our little Colleen health pool a bit. Well, Shannon, I mean. Yeah, Shannon. Alright, so now this is actually a really good play on their part. They're just healing back, healing back. But eventually, what I end up doing is just waiting there and waiting there. And I actually pull off taking her off. But you're going to see them, they're going to just keep spamming it, keep spamming it. And watch this. Invincibility. Perfect timing. Now this exhaustion state really helped right there. And they're going to go for the kill. Boom, nuke right there. So it's really helpful. Like if you can get to exhaustion state, it's gonna practically guarantee the kill with whatever character that you're using. So, unless you're doing like certain cleave characters, um, that don't ignore defense, maybe there's the chance. And that's what can really help you in the exhaustion state is when you get buffs, except for when you're facing Artemile. You can do the defense buff in that state, and certain nukes aren't going to be able to do much to you unless they're single target, or ignore defense AoE, or single target, ignore defense. What's the fourth? Could even be Artemile. Alright. So here's another one. This is actually versus a Legend Stone Copper. Alright? This is versus the Purple Stone, uh, Wind Ninja. I forget his name. It's a newer character. Used to know him when I played Summoners War, Sky Arena. But here you can see they do have some good advantages going because they have, the Legend Stone Camilla. But right here, this is a great counter to that ninja. Is just to drop in that strip right then. That's gonna heal whatever target up too. That's a great time to really counter that copper there. Is as you saw, I landed that buff in there of damage conversion. So though he was dropping low, he couldn't really capitalize off of it. Maybe if they had a divine protection in there, they probably could have made it a very difficult time for me, especially with that Camilla in there. Plus, if they were to strategize appropriately with the defense buffs into copper, probably could have done like a whole frontline wipe. But again, that's why I have Artemile on my team. See that strip? Again, this is why I encourage you guys to, practice even on failure is just to learn how to place divine protection when they are in fact, launching um, that Artemile in, just so that you can make sure you aren't actually taking the damage and it's going to really throw them off. A lot of people are just going to, they're going to forfeit as soon as they see that. As soon as they see, you know, that they waste a card. And that's why a lot of times it's great to use Artemile as more of a counter build, if anything. Um, don't get me wrong, you still can do that play. The person can time it wrong. They can get to the point of just, how do I say, um, not even just timing it wrong, but like they may not even have certain buffs applicable. So especially if you kind of judge wisely upon like whatever mana pool they're running with. But Artemile, I would have to say my best recommendation for skill stone, if you can get it, is going to be the purple. It's even better than the legendary, unless you're running Coom and Artemile legendaries. Now that's a different story because now you could get up to, I'd say, anywhere from 3 to 4 allies revived. Watch this. Get that strip in there. Get the buff in there so they aren't really gonna, sit there and be able to nuke me after that Artemile does his play. Drop their mana pool. Going for the one shots. Going for another one shot. They buff up. Get them to waste that. Because I knew she wasn't going to die there. So it really helps. Get that last one shot in. Now they're probably going to go for their little nuke there. Gonna shield up. Nuke. Just caught them a little shy. And now I have the shield buff and I can play time. is, he's not gonna go for that strip because he knows that I'd be able to one shot him, and he's just gonna wait there till the very last straw and hopefully hope that I miss a counterattack or it lags. Doesn't work out in his favor.